Ever wondered how to make perfect fried plantain chips at home? Welcome, my friends, to a culinary journey that will awaken your senses and tantalize your taste buds. Today, we will be venturing into the realm of fried plantain chips, a delightful delicacy that has captured the hearts of food lovers around the globe. The love for cooking. It's a passion, a craft, an art, and today we'll be showcasing that passion as we guide you through the process of making this delightful treat. From the selection of the perfect plantains to the intricacies of preparation, the sizzle of the frying, and finally, the serving of these golden gems. Each step is a dance, a rhythm that we'll master together. So, are you intrigued, excited, craving the crunch of a perfectly fried plantain chip? Ready to dive into the world of cooking perfect fried plantain chips? Buckle up and let's get started. Before we get our hands dirty, it's essential to gather all the necessary ingredients. The star of our show today is none other than the ripe plantain. Sweet, starchy, and a dream to work with, plantains will form the heart of our delightful chips. Next, we have vegetable oil. It's not just any oil, mind you. Vegetable oil has a high smoke point, making it perfect for frying. It's also neutral in taste, ensuring our plantain's natural sweetness shines through. Now let's talk about salt. A pinch or two, according to your preference, will balance the sweetness of the plantains and elevate the overall flavor. Finally, our trusted kitchen utensils. A sharp knife for slicing the plantains, a frying pan for the actual frying, a slotted spoon for flipping and removing the chips, and paper towels for draining the excess oil. Now that we have all the ingredients ready, it's time to move on to the preparation stage. Preparation is key when it comes to cooking, so let's prep our plantains. First things first, peeling the plantains. Now, plantains may look like oversized bananas, but their skin is thicker and not as easy to peel. Start by cutting off both ends of the plantain. Then make a shallow cut lengthwise along one of the ridges of the plantain skin. Be careful not to cut too deep. You don't want to waste any of that precious flesh. Now, using the edge of your knife, pry open the skin along the cut and peel it off. It should come off in one piece, revealing the creamy, firm flesh underneath. Next up, slicing. The key to perfect plantain chips is to slice them thin and evenly. This ensures they cook at the same rate and achieve that coveted golden brown crispiness. Hold the peeled plantain in one hand and with the other, using a sharp knife, slice diagonally to achieve elongated pieces. Aim for about 1/4 inch thickness. Remember, the thinner the slice, the crispier the chip. Last but not least, seasoning. While some folks prefer their plantain chips plain, a sprinkle of salt can elevate their taste to a whole new level. Lay out the sliced plantains on a flat surface. Now take a pinch of salt and sprinkle it evenly over the slices. Be sure not to overdo it. We're not trying to make salt chips after all. The salt should just lightly kiss the plantains, enhancing their natural sweetness. Now, give your plantain slices a quick toss to make sure they're all evenly seasoned. You can use your hands or a spatula. Just be gentle. You don't want to break those beautifully thin slices. With our plantains prepared, we're ready to move on to the next step. Now we're moving on to the heart of the process, frying the plantains. The first step is to heat the oil. Pour enough oil into a frying pan until it's about 1/2 inch deep. Turn the heat to medium and give the oil some time to warm up. It's important to heat the oil properly, as this will ensure our plantains fry evenly and become beautifully crisp. While the oil is heating, let's talk about safety. Frying involves hot oil, and hot oil can be dangerous. Always stand at a safe distance from the pan and be careful not to splash the oil. If you're new to frying or a bit apprehensive, you might want to use a long-handled slotted spoon to give yourself a bit more distance from the heat. Now, how do we know when the oil is hot enough? Well, there's a simple test. Take a small piece of plantain and drop it into the oil. If it sizzles and bubbles around the edges, then your oil is ready. If it sinks to the bottom without any sizzle, give it a bit more time. Once the oil is hot enough, it's time to add the plantain slices. Carefully lower them into the oil one by one, making sure they don't overlap. Overlapping can cause the plantains to stick together and they won't fry evenly. As the plantains fry, they'll start to change color. Keep a close eye on them. When they turn a rich golden brown, they're done. The transformation from a pale yellow to a deep golden hue is truly a sight to behold. Don't let them get too dark though. If they start to turn a deep brown, they're likely overcooked and could taste bitter. The frying process should take just a few minutes per side. Use your slotted spoon to flip the plantains halfway through to ensure they're evenly cooked. After a few minutes of frying, our plantains should be turning into delightful golden chips. It's time to remove them from the oil. Once the frying is done, it's time to drain and serve our plantain chips. Now, the key to a perfect plantain chip isn't just the frying, it's what comes right after. You want to ensure that your chips aren't overly greasy, and that's where draining comes into play. Firstly, you'll need a large bowl lined with a generous amount of paper towels. The absorbent nature of the paper towel is just the ticket for soaking up any excess oil from our chips. Using a slotted spoon, gently scoop out your golden brown plantain slices from the frying pan, allowing a moment for the oil to drip off. Then, carefully transfer your chips onto the paper towel in the bowl. Give them a moment to rest. The paper towel will work its magic, drawing away the surplus oil, leaving you with chips that are crisp, not greasy. While the chips are still hot, it's time to add a dash of seasoning. A sprinkle of sea salt works wonderfully, enhancing the natural sweetness of the plantains. But don't be afraid to experiment. A pinch of chili powder or a dusting of paprika can add an exciting twist to your chips. Now, on to serving. Plantain chips are a versatile delight. They can be enjoyed just as they are or paired with a variety of accompaniments. A tangy salsa or a creamy guacamole makes for an excellent dip. You could also serve them alongside a hearty stew or a vibrant salad, their crispy texture adding a delightful contrast. Remember, plantain chips are best enjoyed while still warm. Their tantalizing aroma and the satisfying crunch with each bite is a sensory delight not to be missed. So, gather your friends and family, lay out your chips on a large platter, maybe even a sprinkle of fresh herbs for that extra touch of finesse. And there you have it, your homemade fried plantain chips, ready to be enjoyed. Whether it's for a party, a family gathering, or simply a cozy night in, these chips are sure to be a hit. Savor the fruits of your labor and bask in the compliments that are sure to come your way. Let's take a moment to recap the steps we took to make our delicious fried plantain chips. We started off by choosing the right plantains. Remember, for the crispiest and most flavorful chips, we need plantains that are yellow with some black spots. We then peeled our plantains using the 4-step process. Cut off the ends, make a lengthwise cut, peel away the skin, and rinse under cold water. Next, we moved on to slicing. A mandolin slicer is your best friend here, but a sharp knife will also do the trick. The key is to make sure your slices are thin and uniform. This way they'll cook evenly and you'll end up with the perfect crunch. Then, we took our thin slices and soaked them in a saltwater bath. This not only seasons the plantains but also removes the extra starch, which can make your chips soggy. After about 10 minutes, we drained and dried our slices thoroughly. Now the fun part, frying. We heated up some oil in a deep pan, and once it was hot enough, we added our plantain slices in batches, making sure not to overcrowd the pan. We fried them until they turned a beautiful golden brown, then removed them using a slotted spoon. Finally, we drained our chips on a paper towel-lined plate to remove the excess oil. A sprinkle of salt while they were still hot, and voila! We had ourselves some delicious homemade fried plantain chips. But don't let this be the end. Feel free to experiment. Try different spices, maybe a dash of chili powder for a kick, or dust them with some powdered sugar for a sweet twist. Remember, cooking is about having fun and trying new things. So don't be afraid to put your own spin on this recipe. And most importantly, enjoy the process and the delicious results. Cooking is an art, and with these steps, you've just created a masterpiece. Until next time, keep exploring, keep cooking.